Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be going over a new Quinnipiac poll from Quinnipiac University that shows Joe Biden's approval now dropping to an even lower percent of 36 from where it was at about a month ago from 38%. This goes in direct contrast to what the Biden administration, Jen Psaki, was saying that, the polls, they fluctuate, they go up and they go down. Now, maybe in the long term that this could happen, but it clearly shows that Joe Biden's significant disapproval and very low approval is a result of a much deeper problem, a much deeper issue, and resentment that Americans face towards the administration and president at the moment. I don't think that it is one specific issue. I think that it is broad. I think that it is it says a lot to this, and it says a lot to the fact that Democrats really can't. Instead of proposing new policies, they're going to have to try and fix the current issues, which we saw from what they did with the bipartisan infrastructure deal they passed about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. They were like, yes, now this is popular legislation. This will help boost Congress's approval and Biden's approval. It did nothing. If anything, it lowered it. So, this is very, very bad for the Democrats, and it shows that Joe Biden's disapproval is very, very deep, and significantly alludes to the fact that the Republicans could take back the Senate and House come 2022, and we're going to talk about, what else this poll alluded to with regards to the Senate and House, and it also says that, or alludes to essentially in this poll, that Republicans are going to possibly be in for retaking the White House in 2024. So major, major implications coming out of this poll, and very, very bad news for the Democrats in the short term and in the long term. All right, so let's take a look at this poll. President Biden, Americans give President Biden a negative 36%. So this is basically just saying 36 to 53%. So 53% overall disapprove. 36% disapprove. If you don't understand what that means, that's essentially what it's saying. So 36% approve of the job Joe Biden's doing as the president. 10% did not offer an opinion. Whatever. You usually get people that just are not involved in politics and probably don't even know who Biden is. But very bad news for the Democrats at a 36% approval. Now let's really go into aside from just the parties, I'm going to go into the issues. When I went over the issues back a month ago, where I went over the other Quinnipiac poll that had Biden at 38% approval, now we're going over another one. Response to the coronavirus, that has dropped 3%. Before it was 48 to 50, now it is 45 to 50, which means at least 2% of the public really doesn't have much of a say on that, which is a bit interesting. But still 50% disapprove of the job of his response to the coronavirus. Now 45% only approve. And that is something that is bad for Biden, simply because that is meant to be his best issue. That is what he really gained a lot of traction for in April and in May with the vaccine rollout, the dipping of cases, but which you saw, and he was really in his peak as the cases and as people were, at least a lot of businesses were lifting a lot of mask mandates in July. However, it kind of went back, and a lot of that is the fault of Joe Biden's administration implementing it again. A lot of people don't think it should have been. And it's not really, it's really only in a lot of the East Coast and states and West Coast still liberal states. But I think that actually is a result of a lot of people getting upset in those areas, while the other people in like Florida, like Texas, haven't really been affected by it as much. Okay, with climate change, 41% approve, the 80% disapprove. A lot of people don't really have much of an opinion, or not a lot, but in this case, it's about 11% don't have an opinion on that, but still very bad numbers on climate change. 48% disapprove. It's a bit interesting. I would think that it is probably Republicans that are with the disapprove, but I would say it's a strange topic issue to talk about with climate change. Anyway, going on to the economy, 34% approve. Obviously, incredibly high inflation, gas numbers, prices all around, and a lot of people struggling to pay their bills each month. Foreign policy, 33% approval, 55% disapprove. This is another thing that stems pretty obviously from Afghanistan, where we saw those videos, and obviously you can talk about the fact that billions of dollars of military equipment were left over, the night-seeing goggles that really were helpful in getting the U.S. takeover of Afghanistan, whether or not you agree with that war or not. Definitely not good to leave billions of dollars of resources to the Taliban, an American enemy, or was an American enemy at the moment. It's a bit hard to tell. But yeah, 33% approval, and you can of course talk about those videos where those Afghans were simply just falling out of planes that were taking off and leaving Afghanistan. A terrible look for the Biden administration. A lot of refugees, and I think that it was not. It was obviously not a good look, and you got bad media coverage for that. If you want to talk about that, so that's at a 33% approval. That's only a third of the country, and over a majority of the country disapprove of that. This is stuff that Republicans definitely can run on, including the coronavirus, foreign policy, economy, and then you can obviously talk about what happened in Virginia with whatever Glenn Youngkin was running. Well, what Glenn Youngkin was running on with education and whatnot. So a lot of issues the Republicans can run on. Here, we're going to scroll up now and talk about yes. Actually, no, this is not it. It's a little bit higher. It's actually at the top. If we see, here we go. Sorry, that's my phone. Okay. Here we go. Americans say 46 to 40%. They would want to see the Republican win control of the U.S. Senate. 15% did not have an opinion. So that is now, it's not a majority of the Americans, but it's a majority of the poll, or a plurality of the poll, believe that they want to see the Republican Party win control of the U.S. Senate. And even greater percent, or actually, no, this is independents. You can go up to the House, actually. If they have it, I'm sorry. Kind of missing this at the moment. Yeah. All right, 46 to 38. One Republican Party to win control of the House. And that definitely bodes to or translates to the midterm elections coming up. Another bad look for the Democrats. And frankly, you would think that people would be more satisfied with the Democrats' job in control of the House of Representatives at the moment due to the fact of the passing of the infrastructure bill, the bipartisan infrastructure bill at least. Even back with what they call the American Rescue Plan, different things that they passed, and policies that were implemented. You would think that the American would be particularly happy with that. However, not good at the moment. We can talk about the political parties. Slight majority of Americans, 52%, say the Democrat Party has moved too far to the left. That is a majority of Americans that think that the Democrats have, significantly, moved too far to the left, which is very interesting because Biden is the president. Bernie was not elected president. Joe Biden was elected president. And even a majority of Americans still think the party has moved too far to the left. As we all know, Biden ran on that centrist, Midwestern Joe from Scranton. I guess that persona is kind of dying away, which is a bit strange. Or not strange, but it's a bit bad. It's bad for the Democrats. And shows that, I guess, a lot of people are seeing Joe Biden in a very different tone at the moment. And frankly, the Democrats are not coming off at all good in any way whatsoever. 35% moved too far to the right. Frankly, that is, very good numbers for the Republicans. You'd expect it to be about 50% with, country split 50-50. You'd expect half the Democrats to say, yeah, the Republicans have gone crazy. They moved too far to the right. Only about a third say it's moved too far to the right. And 13% say it has moved too far to the left. I would argue that that's actually some Republicans that are very dissatisfied with the way that McConnell has been implementing things in the Senate, voting for that infrastructure bill, with Liz Cheney. A lot of dissatisfied Republicans that are just simply saying, this party is not the party that I signed up for. So the Republican Party has good numbers with, I guess, Democrats, if you want to consider, or not Democrats, but I guess independents and some Democrats at least, where not many people think it's moved too far to the right. You'd expect each party to say on each side, where this is definitely almost all Republicans and independents, or not all independents, but a lot of independents. Congress, of course, very low approval rating, 25%. This is give Republicans in Congress or whatnot. Democrats, 31%. So yeah, Republicans more dissatisfied with their own incumbents. Definitely says another thing to those issues. We're scrolling past Biden now. And at this point, we're just analyzing the polls. American economy, 61% say the nation's economy is getting worse, which is a bit interesting if you translate that back to 2020, where they did that poll. I'm pretty sure it was the pollster, Gallup, does their poll every 4 years, every general election, or usual. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? 61% said that they were better off today back in 2020. Now it appears that has been kind of a flip, at least if you translate that in regards to the economy. And a lot of people say that in real time, with the gas prices, they don't see the Biden administration doing anything to lower that, and a lot of people are struggling, especially a lot of low-income people. And the Democrat Party does claim to be representative of low-income families and of middle class families. However, the only people that are not particularly struggling with affording the basic goods are the wealthier Americans in the country, with record high prices. People having trouble, getting a Thanksgiving turkey for their holiday. So very, very bad look for the Democrats once more. And Biden, the administration, at least, publicly, or not publicly, but politically, and you talk about the view of the public, has not really been seen to attempt to change any of the policies. We saw the major thing that was reported was they were going and tapping into the reserves and adding 50, I believe it was 50 million barrels of oil. You can correct me, to the oil supply. However, that is only going to help for about a few days of the oil thing. So that is not even a temporary thing. That is just a blip in the system. It's all that's going to be. So there's not really going to be much change with that. As we all know, very low approval on the economy. Long delays in the delivery of items, supply chain issue. And I do think that the economy is one of those big issues where I think that Americans kind of want Trump back, because he was, at least in the view of the Americans, and you could see that in the numbers, Trump was very popular in his handling of the economy. A lot of people thought he was doing a good job, and record low unemployment, whatnot. However, looking at the economy, a lot of people do not think that the Democrats are particularly good at handling that. And you can go through the rest of this poll. I'm going to leave it in the description below. I guess we can go over a few of these questions. I actually didn't really look at this. Oh, yeah, this is just the regular poll. Actually, kind of better to look at these charts, which is, good to look at. So 36% approve, 53% disapprove. Only 4% are Republicans. I'd be interested to see who the 4% are. Probably people like Mitt Romney. Republicans like Mitt Romney. 87% of Democrats approve. 27% of men. This is actually really interesting, because gender does play a role in this approval. Where you see 27% of men to 62% approve, and 62% are men disapproving, while 45% of women approving and 46% disapproving. I think that's, a response. I think that women, at least when you look at the coronavirus numbers, a lot of the women in the country are more, I guess you could say, scared of the coronavirus, more nervous about catching it and whatnot, and having it translate to their kids. And men, I guess, are more, or then I don't guess, but I guess they're more kind of like, not as worried about it. And I think that says something to how to Biden's administration and to how he's handled issues. And it's interesting to look at these gendered polls to see what people are viewing it as. And for Republicans to get a lot of these women, they could run on issues like education. Democrats can have a trouble time running with the men. They used to be more of a party of the middle class. Now it's kind of dwindled in their support of that area. But yeah, you can go through this entire poll and really look at the different demographics of things. Republicans handling their job, and it obviously goes into the descriptions above. What you would consider. So, and here, the funny thing is, there were women actually would rather have the Democrat Party control the U.S. House, while men overwhelmingly would have the Democrats. With the Senate, oh no, this is age. My bad. This is with regards to age. As you all know, 1834, not as involved in politics. But, it is interesting as the ages go up, actually, aside from 65 plus, which I guess they're more worried about the coronavirus, more people are, trend to the right, and as you go to the younger area. But anyway, I'm going to stop with this video, because I'm not going to be, it's very interesting to go through. I actually enjoy going through these, but I'll probably go through them. Maybe I'll go over specific numbers later on. But, I'm going to end this video here. Please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are within 15 subscribers away from cracking 250. We will be 1/4 of the way to 1,000. We'll be finally making a dent on that 1,000 mark and getting there. Anyway, so go ahead and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to like the video and comment below on your thoughts of these poll numbers and how you think this will affect Republicans and Democrats in the 2022 election, 2024, and beyond. Once more, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a great day, and stay tuned for more great videos to come.